Okay, video 5. Added a few more things to the map of these oil drums mark Allied fuel dumps. Now, I probably haven't got all of them at the moment. You see these bags of wheat, they represent major supply centres, you know, that they can feed whole sort of feed and fuel home cores, etc. There's one at Namur and there's one at Liège. I've added a couple of German victory condition markers, these red counters here. Now, in the campaign game, you're going to get a marginal victory if you can achieve a load of these. Now, these are all over the map, and to be quite honest, I can't find most of them because it doesn't give you hex numbers. It just gives you the name of the town, which is not very good, to be honest. Now, looking at reinforcements, I have discovered there is a reinforcement marker on the time track. If you see a German cross or an American star, that indicates there are replacements due on that particular turn. Another thing, I've put weather markers out that, based on the conditions at the start of the game, and they change potentially. I'm not sure, to be quite honest. I won't say when they change, but you mark your German headquarters to show what the current conditions are on the board. Now, it's clear on all 3 German armies. The 6th Panzer Army hasn't got its HQ on the board yet, so that isn't marked. What you will notice is there's a little area called the something Schnell Eif or something, which means snow mountain. Now that is like got a permanent snow squall on it, which is the worst possible weather conditions. It's actually marked on the board. You can see you see that white line that marks the boundary of the actual area that is in the weird weather condition. So we're messing with the start of the game now. So we consult the turn record track for reinforcements. Now, yeah, there are reinforcements coming in for both sides the start of this turn. Now, the German ones are in restricted mode, which means they can't actually move until other units have really made way for them. We've got ground conditions which are determined by the track here. Now, there's a little sort of code thing there, so if it's green, it's firm, okay? So you only need to worry about that on turns where it becomes variable. You see this one here, that one's variable, and then you throw a dice to establish what conditions are actually in place. So I'm not really had to worry about that. Atmospheric conditions, right, I'm going to have to go, there's either a default atmospheric condition or something for the start of this game, because I'm pretty sure it starts off foggy. Just bear with me. Okay, I've sorted that one out now. The weather conditions, you don't have to actually bother about weather conditions. They're assumed to be clear unless there is an indication on the turn track. For example, this one here, PD December the 18th actually says roll for fog or roll for mud, etc. So you don't need to worry about that. So we start off clear, which I've successfully done, marking my HQs as being clear. Okay, now the next bit is this fresh determination segment. Now you don't have to worry about this on the first turn. Everybody's assumed to be fresh. This is gradually, as the game goes on, your HQs will become more and more fatigued unless they actually rest at certain periods, and that fatigue will start affecting their combat capabilities. So because that's not really a problem in the first turn, I'm going to ignore it at this particular moment. The next one is your air segment. Now if you look at the turn track again, where it says 00, that's the amount of air that's available to each side. So there's actually no air cover on the first day because the weather, even though it says it's clear in the game, it's not clear enough to fly aircraft. Go figure, I don't know. Another thing I found quite amusing is old war gamers like myself, that we've actually got a player aid for the player aids. That's the first time I've ever seen that. But it's good. It's good. It's good. Great idea. When you got lots of player aids, it tells you what's on each one. But I've never seen that before. I found it a bit amusing anyway. Okay, next goes the command segment. Now, you've actually got a chain of command player aid here. So for example, this is the player aid for the US First Army, which is the only army on the board at the start. It shows you various divisions, and it's in the core echelons that go with it. Okay, US Third Army obviously isn't around at this particular stage. And on the other side, you've got a German chain of command for your armies, Panzer armies and your 7th Army. Okay, now as I understand it, you don't have to worry about command on the first turn. Now I'm really going to have to check that. But this is interesting. I've had a quick look in the rules. Now I can't see anything that says whether everybody's in command on the first turn. But I'll discuss command while I'm here. There's another little chart, which is your check command summary. Wow. Exactly. And you have to determine the command structure for every single unit on the board. Now, we'll keep this simple based on the fact that an army's HQ is always considered to be in command as far as I can establish it. So we'll have a look at the American First Army, which is based here. It's Spa. The blue square indicates it's an army command, army HQ, and the oil says there's an oil dump here, fuel dump. Now, sorry about this being upside down, but this is a difficult area of the table to get to. Now if you see that 40 in the black ball, like a pool ball with a 40 on it, that represents the command radius in hexes. So in other words, this army can project a 40 hex radius to all its subordinate HQs. Now, it looks like you have to go down the command chain. So you'll see some core, there's some 5th Corps, like support unit command. (406th Artillery Group). There's some HQ there, divisional HQ for 2nd Infantry Division, who's actually got a leader on top of it. And if you notice, each unit below it, so say these core things also have a command radius. So you're really saying it's 40 from the army to the corps, and then the corps goes from 10 to all its subordinate units. So these are a load of subordinate units for the 406th Group and the 190th Artillery Groups. Right, it's a good question where the HQ for the 109th Artillery Group is. 190th Artillery Group is, because I don't know where it is. Not off the top of my head, anyway. I might have a quick check for that. Okay, I'm not sure where that HQ is. I assume it's a reinforcement at some point in time. Now, there's more to this than meets the eye. Oddly, that there's a command radius from armies to corps and to corps support units. And there's also from corps to divisions, and from divisions to command posts, and from command posts to individual units. Now, if you don't have a particular command echelon in place, you can take command directly from the next one up. For example, that 190th Artillery Group, which hasn't got a core HQ on the map at this particular point in time, can actually go directly to the army for its command. Now, there are a few oddball units which are like individual Kampf groups and special formations that actually have their own inbuilt command, and these are quite clever, that they can actually project command radiuses while they're moving. So if you look at any other HQ, for example, that has a movement of 0 at the moment. If I turn it over, it can move. It has a movement of 6. But if you notice, and a movement of 8. But if you notice, now I've actually changed its formation, say, to being mobile. It's lost its command. So, and there's another next to the 8. This is a 1, which a 2. Sorry, God, I'm making a right mess of this. A 2 that tells you it takes 2 movement points to flick that back to its other formation, which is its deployed formation, and then it re-establishes its command radius of 7.